Conserve School, in one word, would have to be connections.
Connections.
I would say engaging.
Green.
Community.
I'd say community.
Beautiful.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Environmental Hogwarts.
Exhilarating.
Experiential.
Passionate.
Home.
Conserve School is an environmentally focused semester school near Land O'Lakes in northern Wisconsin. The campus encompasses 1,200 acres, right on the border of the pristine Sylvania wilderness. This year, I had the incredible opportunity to attend Conserve School for my fall semester. At Conserve, a group of 60 students live on campus for 4 months while they learn about and explore the natural world around them. The school's mission says it all, inspiring young people to environmental stewardship through academics and engagement with the forests, lakes, and wildlife of Lowenwood.
Environmental stewardship means like doing whatever you can to protect the environment, and you know, like you have an obligation to protect the earth because of like what it gives. It gives so much to you, so you may as well like give something back.
Environmental stewardship, to me, means that you have a strong passion for the environment and that you're willing to dedicate your time and effort and everything that you have into protecting the environment.
It means standing up for the environment, even though it's not easy.
Finding a deep connection with the place to the point where you have passion for protecting it and making it better for others.
It means protecting and caring for and thinking about the future of the land and the waters and the air of this beautiful world.
My favorite class has to be, I'd say stewardship, honestly. It's so different from like any traditional class you take at home. It's a lot of facilitated discussion, being able to learn from one another and speaking about your opinions and being confident with your opinions, because it's such a safe space to be able to really grow into your own and figure out who you are as a person and be able to talk about the issues that you think matter, and just being able to really spread what you think is right. And stewardship is just a great class for starting with activism and anything of that sort.
It really made me realize that I want to have a future in this, and every time I have that class I have such a good time and I learn so much, and the people in the class I love, and it's just an incredible environment. And yeah, that class always goes by in a snap because it's just, I'm having such a good time. So I mean all the classes here are incredible, but that class just blows my mind how good it is. So.
Hi, I'm Aliva Potter. I'm from northern Minnesota, and my job is Assistant Director of Student Instruction, which is kind of a mouthful, but what that really means is I get to teach the Stewardship and Action elective and do fun things like organize guest speakers and Earth Week and college fairs and other fun events. Stewardship is a really interesting conglomeration of many things. So the point is just to inspire environmental stewardship, like the mission of Conserve School. And so we try to do that by having students focus on like who are they, what are their values, how do they want to be a steward, and we also think it's really important to connect to place. So we try to do that here at Lowenwood with whatever the seasons bring. And then also really having students think how do they want to engage back in their sending community too. So we try to mirror both what they're doing here at Conserve School, but then like how are they going to transfer that home. And the biggest way we do that in class is through the Taking Action project. So each student picks a project they want to do in their sending community that has to do with environmental stewardship. And they plan it all while they're at Conserve, and then hopefully they execute it when they get home.
Okay, so my TAP, so I'm very passionate about protecting the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness from sulfide ore, copper, nickel mining threats. I was before I came here and still very much am. So my TAP is going to be, and I also love music, so I'm going to tie those two things together. So my TAP is going to be, I'm going to hold a concert in Duluth where I'm from, a benefit concert to raise money for a campaign, or the campaign to save the Boundary Waters with another student.
So my TAP is a little bit different from a lot of people's because mine doesn't have to do as much with the environment. I am going to try to fix my school's dress code.
Alright, so my TAP project for our environmental stewardship class is I will be doing 2 river cleanups or more in Milwaukee, Wisconsin or Waukesha, Wisconsin.
What's your favorite thing about your job?
Oh, well, I think staying always like charged and hopeful and enthusiastic because of the students, because it's just contagious. And seeing students build community, I never really experienced anything like Conserve until I was much older and like lived in intentional communities. But being able to have that experience at this age, I think is so powerful to learn how to like simple things like make friends and create fun activities with each other. And it seems so simple, but it's like such a great important skill, and just seeing students get to experience that. And then I know they'll bring it back with them, just like leaves me with hope for the future.
All right. Hi, I'm Leanna Jackin. I'm lead teacher for AP Environmental Science here at Conserve School. So AP Environmental Science is essentially the AP College Board class. So you have the topic list that you go through for AP Environmental Science, but we like to take our own Conserve School twist on things and kind of add stuff to it and enhance their curriculum. So it's a little bit different than you'd find at a regular high school.
My name's Andrew Diet, and I teach environmental science here at Conserve School, and I'm from New Hampshire. And the way I view science is through the inquiry process, which is kind of the essence of the scientific method. I'm trying to teach the scientific method through inquiry. I'm also trying to teach, not necessarily teach, but give students the opportunity to find that spirit again and to find that connection and to infuse that back into the science education. The Phonology Spot project is one that's been going on at Conserve School for a long time. And essentially, students are asked, one of their very first assignments is to go explore the trails and to see what's out there, to find a spot that they might like to return to throughout the semester. And after they've found that spot, on Wednesday mornings, for about an hour and a half, they go out to their spot and engage in this journaling process, which is meant to reinforce actually both of those two things, the inquiry mindset and the human spirit.
At the beginning, I didn't necessarily think the project was stupid, but I just wasn't like feeling it as much. But as each time we visited our spot went on, I just grew a connection to this place, and every time our teacher Andrew at the beginning of the class would give a little spiel, I just felt really empowered and really excited to go out to my spot. And then it came to our last entry this midweek this week, and when I had to leave my spot, I was like almost in tears because I had just grown such a connection to this place, and I was just so at peace. Like, it was the 1 hour out of my week that I could just be alone in nature and not have anything and not have any other obligations.
I never had that escape. My mind was just like going a million miles in like a minute, and being able to just be at my phonology spot has really allowed me to just relax and let everything just go as it does.
I feel like it's so much more than just looking at connections in nature. Like, I feel like the goal is to like be able to like look at things from like a broader perspective and really look at like the area as a whole, but also just like getting us to pay attention to things.
I humbly believe that the key grassroots of science is the observational aspect, and we've been given the tools here to manifest in that, and I feel like I got to practice it very well.
I'm Michael Sallet. I am the History Social Studies teacher here at Conserve School. I've been here now for 14 years. The class is titled Environmental Citizenship. Now we're focusing, trying to get things more related to the environment, stewardship, people that have made a difference, different stories. Think about different environmental issues, getting a lot of current events involved in the class. So that's kind of where the direction of the class is going right now.
So the dugout canoe building lesson, students were able to work on them over the course of several semesters to chip using axes and adzes to hollow out the inside of a log to try and turn a cylinder into something that's kind of more boat-shaped.
And you realize how much work it took for the different people who were making the canoes and how long it took. Yeah, it really put things in perspective.
And there was a class where we got to go out in the boats and see that, hey, no, they don't tip over, they're just fine, but they are a little leaky after, some of them are a few years old, the two completed boats.
I like history a lot because we do a lot of active things. We don't just read or write or think about history. We act history. We do it. We make that dugout canoe. We make those trails. We do all sorts of cool things. That hands-on experience has been pretty eye-opening for me. And I really like English class, especially now, because it's giving us the tools to act, to use our voice. The class is called Wilderness Voices.
Hi, my name is Jeff Reinecke. I teach English at Conserve School, and I make my home in Bayfield, Wisconsin. I teach a class called Wilderness Voices. We study the literature of the wilderness, how other people have been inspired by the great American landscape. But then we also look at the voices part. How can the students use their voices through public speaking, through writing letters to their congresspeople, or other means that they can express their own inspiration that they've taken from the wilderness?
I think Jeff is just really awesome and passionate about what he does, and that's really cool. And he just, like, the lessons are so fun and different, and I really enjoy going to that class every day, which is something I'm not necessarily used to going to a public high school.
She's really astute, but also very intelligent and smart and well read. There's so much I learned from working with him. It gives me the space and the freedom to do things like my Captain Pirate lesson plan and other things that I might find interesting.
He's amazing. I feel like I just love that class so much. I learned so much about writing, and I learned so much about how to advocate, which is really cool. Right now we're doing a unit on how to use our voices to speak up for the wilderness, which I thought was really, really cool.
What are a few of your favorite lessons?
The most effective ones through the years have been those that engage both the head and the heart. Where you do something physical, carrying a 14-foot pole to the top of the sledding hill, doing the 5-lake loop. So there's a physical component, but also an academic component. So I don't know if I can pick one other than to say it would have to involve both the head and the heart.
Hi, my name's Rebecca, and I teach the outdoor skills class here. This is an opportunity for students to connect with a place through outdoor recreation. And with this connection comes a love for the place, and our goal is for a willingness to always want to care for it.
Well, in outdoor skills class one day we had a combined 4-hour afternoon class, and we did the bush push, which is pretty much you choose a destination in Sylvania and you use orienteering skills to get there. And my group, our destination was Fisher Lake, which was literally just straight north of where we were, and somehow we got a bearing of 60 degrees, and so we ended up completely at a totally different lake, which was still a really fun journey. And it taught me it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, stuff like that. And it was really cool, just to go off in Sylvania and not have a trail too.
My favorite lesson, I think, to teach is cross-country skiing. We have all different abilities and levels. It's really awkward to put on 2 pieces of wood and try to move across snow. And so it just creates this environment where we can be open and vulnerable, and we're falling, and that's okay, and it's a lot of fun.
Another important part of Conserve School's curriculum is Exploration Week, a 6-day backcountry camping trip where students can choose to either canoe in the Sylvania wilderness or backpack at Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore or the Trap Hills section of the North Country Trail.
Well, Exploration Week in essence is a way for us to live out so many of the things that we talk about during the rest of the semester. It springs most logically from outdoor skills, things like how to build a campfire, how to stay warm, how to travel safely. But every class that we have here, I think, has components of how to respect the wilderness, how to express the wilderness, the history of wilderness. It's all a part of it. So I like to think of it as a physical embodiment of what we teach in our classes, and it's a lot of fun.
Exploration Week was so much fun. I was on Pictured Rocks with Ella, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I've never been backpacking, so it was super cool. We trudged through heavy winds, and we had lightning storms and rain and sunshine and just all types of weather. So it was such a cool experience that the weather truly added to.
I went to Pictured Rocks in the Upper Michigan Peninsula. We spent 6 or 7 days, can't quite remember, on Lake Superior backpacking. We went about 41 miles, stopped on a whole bunch of beaches, and I really got to bond with my team members and teammates, and I learned something new every single day, and it was my first time backpacking, so I really enjoyed the experience. The weather was crazy. I'd never seen Lake Superior. It was amazing. I had a great time.
Exploration week! Okay, so I was canoeing in Slovenia, and oh my god, it was so amazing. I had never gone on a canoe trip before, much less like spent a night in the woods by myself or in a small group of people. And so it was really a lot of learning for me, and I was really scared when we first set out in our canoes on that first day, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I just kind of let things happen as they did, and I just kind of lived in the moment, and it was a really, really great trip. We ended up going all the way around Slovenia and just going to all these different lakes, and there was one day there was this really heavy windstorm. I remember we were paddling in Clark Lake, and it was like the waves were crashing to the point where we had water like filling our canoe, and we just like hurried to the campsite as fast as we could, and we actually had to go back and help our like half of our group because only 2 of our canoes had made it there. And so we all had to walk back along the shore, and we helped push the other canoe to our campsite. And so I think that was like really powerful for me, just like being able to help each other and making sure that we all get there safely. It was like really, I don't know how to describe it. It was really uplifting.
For many students, Exploration Week is the first time they've been backpacking, the first time they've been on a canoe trip, or even the first time they've been camping. But for almost all students, solos are the first time they've been camping alone. All students are assigned a spot on campus where they spend either 1 or 2 nights solo camping. Staff members camp nearby at a group site where students have the option to go on their second night. Most students, however, choose to spend both nights on their own.
Solos was really intimidating at first. Well, at first I was like, yeah, I got this. And then it turned into holy crap, it's gonna be dark, and I'm absolutely terrified of the dark, and what about wolves and bears and coyotes and all of them? They're gonna eat me. And then that night, I'm a pretty girly person, so I may have brought a face mask on my solos. And it was starting to get dark out, so I put my face mask on, and I was laying in my tent, and then all of a sudden, I heard the wolves, and I almost peed myself. But then I figured, well, I better keep my face mask on. I still have 10 more minutes to go. And if the wolves come, at least I'll die beautiful. So, yeah, and I survived, and it was really fun. And I definitely recommend it for everyone, because spending time to yourself for like a few hours is one thing, but to be out in the woods where you can't see anyone else for 48 hours is something like, I feel like life-changing.
Solos, so I was on the shore of Lake Elaine, basically, like literally I could step out of my tent and like touch the water if I wanted. I was very close to the edge, probably too close, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite experiences here. It was really hard for me to leave my spot. I just felt so at peace.
Solos was awesome. Like, I feel like I really learned about the difference between being by myself and being with myself on solos. But like, I also learned a lot about myself. Like, I was able to make a fire and like do all this stuff, and I wasn't dependent on anyone, and that felt really, really good. And just lots of time to reflect on my time here.
You definitely have to step outside of your comfort zone a lot here, even to come here, and then small steps in the progress. Every class, you just have to like put yourself out there and like not be afraid to be vulnerable, which is hard, but you learn a lot out of it, and you definitely benefit for the positive. after you do that.
I would just say that if any young people see this video and they're looking for an opportunity to really enrich their love of the environment, build their outdoor skills, I'd encourage them to apply. We are always looking for great kids.
If you're someone who cares about the environment, someone who is passionate about outdoor exploration, someone who's passionate about trying to make a difference in our world, those are the people we'd like to see here.
If you're thinking of applying, go for it. It's free. And I mean, what's the worst that happens? You don't get in and you continue on with your life. But if you do get in, this place is beyond anything you could ever imagine. And it's just taught me so much about who I am as a person and how I can really change the world.
You were shy. If you're like a little bit like hesitant, like maybe I shouldn't apply, you should apply anyways, because when I first came here, I was a little bit shyer, and coming here has like made the world of difference. Like I just really like come out of my shell, and like I'm a lot more outgoing now, and like I've just really found myself, I guess. So yeah, definitely don't hesitate, just apply.
I love the potential that I have to grow here as a human being, as an artist, as a writer, as a person.
Growing as a person and learning how to use my voice. Because I'm a very loud person, but I never really knew how to like channel that in a good way. But since I've been here, because now I have the facts to support stuff that I'm passionate for, now I'm able to like channel my voice into a good direction to advocate for what I believe in.
I'm not quite sure what I want to do when I grow up, but I know that the environment will always be there, so I want to be able to protect it, and it's skills that I've learned here will play a role in my life in the future too.
I think the biggest thing is like I've learned I'm capable of so much more, and I've tried so many new things here, and it's really empowering because also like you're with other people who may have done it before, or also it's like their first time, which is really cool.
I've learned how, I think the most important thing I've learned is how to live in a thoughtful and supportive community and how to be a part of that.
What have I learned here? I have certainly learned that there are many solutions to our current problems, and also I've been given the tools to kind of shed some light and make these issues a little easier to start working on.
I feel like one of the biggest things is like about gratitude and how we can use that to change the world. I feel like the world's problems are they're so huge, and it can seem really like it can just be really overwhelming at times, but like being able to ground yourself with gratitude and really acknowledge what you're feeling, I feel like has helped me be more like level-headed, and I feel like I have a better idea of how I want to make a change now.
I think I just learned like how to live in this world with humans that I may not agree with, but that they still can play a huge role in my life.
Just it's really, you may come here expecting to just get on the path to your environmental education, but really what I've found is instead it's about the people here and how amazing they are.
It's just how close I've grown to my friends here in 4 months, and I can honestly say that I've grown closer to them than anyone else in life that I've known for multiple years, so that's really powerful.
We've built such a strong community and a group of friends with the teachers, and everyone is very inclusive.
It's the hardest thing in the back of your mind that you're going to have to leave at some point, that this intentional community is going to disperse throughout the country and that we're all never going to be together again in the same building or in the same community of people.
What will you miss most about Conserve?
The people, for sure. And the place. It's hard. I really cannot decide.
I will miss the community the most. Everyone here is just so supportive and so loving, and I have that at home to a certain respect, but the community here is it's so unique. And everyone's just so accepting. It's beautiful, it's amazing.
What will you miss most about Conserve?
The friends that I've made, definitely. They're always there, and especially in this unique part of my life, they're in the same situation and we can relate, and it's such a unique friendship that a lot of people don't understand.
I'm really gonna miss the people because we're all a giant family. Like, nobody wants to leave their family forever.
It's fantastic. It's beyond my imagination how we all support each other and share our deepest hopes and dreams and sorrows.
When I told a lot of my friends that I was coming here and it's like an environmental stewardship school, they were all like, so it's a bunch of tree huggers. And yes, I would call all of us tree huggers, but it's so much more than that. And it's not just a school where we're like fighting to save the environment, which of course we're doing, but like we're also like spending time in the environment and like learning so much about ourselves and going on Expo Week and so many things like that. It's I don't know, like it's so much cooler than I feel like I like talked it up to be.
It's sort of an indescribable education. You do so much with your time here that it just flies by. And I get the feeling that it's gonna stick with me too. It's the kind of education that you're not gonna get anywhere else. So I'm very thankful for that.
It's life-changing, it's wonderful, and I've never been happier than here.